Chain presents a community conversation on public health preparedness program hosted by Reverend Daniel H. Lindor. Open discussions and insights on heat warnings and other public health emergencies. Philadelphia Immunization Program, preparing your home for every season. Personal preparedness to stay healthy. Engaging faith-based and community organizations to consider planning for emergencies. This and more is going down and will be discussed live on Island Vybe, Philly Caribbean Station, www.islandvybe.net, every Monday, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Where we bring to you highlights of entrepreneurs, leaders, organizers, and much more. A broad spectrum of professionals, including chefs, artists, designers, musicians, and much more. Our show is a new brand of talk show.
It's Ray, because you don't know we fetting all day. We walking up all day. And it has tons of events and tons of artists like myself to keep all you entertained. Because you don't know Fetopia come to bring the thing. Wait. All is still here? What are you waiting for? Run and secure them packages. Enter It's Ray and come and give me the thing where you say you have for me. The thing you say you have for me.
Boss, I'm not coming to work today or any other day between June 2nd and June 9th because I'll be on board the Fetopia cruise performing live. That's right, June 2nd to June 9th, 2024. The Fetopia cruise. Get your cabins now. Problem Child Live is going to be insane. Don't meet me there, beat me there. Get your cabins now. It's going to be crazy. And it's going to be a holiday.
Fetopia.
Rising Hope for Change presents a community conversation on public health preparedness program hosted by Reverend Daniel H. Lindor. Open discussions and insights on heat warnings and other public health emergencies. Philadelphia Immunization Program, preparing your home for every season. Personal preparedness to stay healthy. Engaging faith-based and community organizations to consider planning for emergencies. This and more is going down and will be discussed live on Island Vybe, Philly Caribbean Station, www.islandvybe.net, every Monday, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m.
guys, it's your girl Anika Berry, and guess what? I am officially a brand ambassador and artist of the Petopia Carnival Cruise, and we are going to the Bahamas June 2nd through June 9th, and guess what the best part is? We are leaving out of Brooklyn. We don't have to buy no flights, no hotels. It's just straight from Brooklyn to the Bahamas for a 7-day ultra premium experience, all inclusive. I'm so excited. We're gonna have 14 events on the cruise, on the land in the Bahamas. We're just gonna drink. We're gonna get lashed up. You're gonna see your favorite artists perform. We're getting everything on this boat. So make sure to reserve your spot now and come and chat with me because we will have a time with Petopia.
I in a mood right now. Said we ready. I can't worry about nothing way I can't fix. Oh, yeah, yeah. I want some rum, I want some girls, I want some weed. I want party. You want some party? Yo, guess what we tell you? Let me go, let me go, let me go. I'm in a mood and I want turn up. You should talk how you're feeling. Pour some rum right now in my cup. I can see how you're feeling. Hey. Tell the DJ to play my tune. Don't wanna see my yard no time soon. Cause I feel like why not closer? I don't want go home sober. I'm that boy. I see energy every and I just feeling good. I'm feeling good, I'm feeling good. How when I in that mode, fuck the negative baby and I just feeling good. I'm feeling good.
You're on.
Good evening again. Good evening. We want to welcome you again to this podcast, where we will be discussing community issues, particularly community health issues, and things that we should be doing that will help us to live healthy and increase safety within our communities. Wherever you're joining us tonight, we want to welcome you live from Island Vybe Caribbean radio station. And we come to you this evening again from Rising Hope for Change. We are situated at 1628 South 58th Street in Philadelphia. And also you can locate us at 3 Chester Pike, Derby, PA 19023. Tonight, we are pleased and again happy to join you to discuss issues, health issues that affect people and affect the community. So we welcome you, and I am joined tonight by Miss Kebe. You want to take a moment to introduce yourself quickly, please?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kevin. I'm from Rising Hope for Change. We've been here for some time now. Some of you, if you've been joining us, we say welcome again. If you're new to the show, we say welcome. And it's our hope that we can have a very solid conversation, and hopefully this can be interactive. If you're able to make your comments, please do that. That would be appreciated. If not, you can just watch, and maybe another time, if you have the chance, you can also join the live. So thank you all for tuning in, and you are welcome.
Thank you. You are welcome. Exactly. We want to thank you for tuning in, wherever, for the time to just listen to, for us to learn together. And I mean, many of you who do send comment, we appreciate that, those feedbacks. They've been helpful to help shape the way we provide you information here. But tonight we wanted to make sure that we can also share with you a number of things. And so I will turn the floor over to Ms. Kebe, who's going to introduce the topic tonight for us.
So tonight, hopefully, with time, we will be able to delve into two important topics. One is community preparedness, how to prepare and stay safe as a community. We've discussed individually. We want to make sure that we can work as communities too. And we're also going to be discussing hepatitis A. I know some people might have heard or know about hepatitis B or C, but tonight is specifically going to be on hepatitis A. So, if you have any knowledge about it, you want to join, like I said earlier, that would be appreciated. So, let's have this conversation.
Awesome. So talking about hepatitis A, what comes to your mind when you hear that? Maybe whether it's through a doctor or maybe someone talking in the community about hepatitis A, all of this hepatitis A, B, C, and so forth. But what comes to your mind when we talk about hepatitis A?
Hepatitis A, generally when we hear hepatitis, the first thing that we think about is liver, because that's the most important, that's the main organ that is usually affected by hepatitis. So when I hear hepatitis, I think about liver illness.
Liver illness. So basically, yes, that's right. Okay. So hepatitis A is transmitted, and literally this is it brings some sort of risk factor that is associated or contracted by virus, right? Because one contracted a virus, and that virus later on developed, and then it attacked significant portion of your part, right? So it's primarily transmitted through the injections, right? Whereas it's contaminated food, right? Through contaminated food.
Yeah.
Basically, yes, through contaminated food or water, right? So you get that through it. And that was the question I wanted to see, how do people get it? What is hepatitis A? And so let's take a little bit of time to help our people in the community, because we're talking about health hazards. And so not only talking about COVID, but even health hazards, these are things that affect the community. So we wanted to see how people can get affected by hepatitis A.
So hepatitis A is not airbound. That's the first thing we should know. It's not airbound. It is not spread through saliva. Unlike hepatitis B. So hepatitis A, sorry. So it's not, unlike hepatitis B, it's not spread through saliva, and it's also not airbound. That's one thing we should consider. Hepatitis A is spread through rare physical rub, that is coming in contact with feces. Like for people who don't wash their hands, there are some people who are not in the habit of washing their hands. So let's just say a little small amount of stool can touch a surface, and that surface becomes contaminated. If you touch that, you can contact the virus and you can get hepatitis A from there. Like I said again, if you don't wash your hands and you have already got it contaminated, you prepare food, the food becomes contaminated, people eat it, or you touch water, somebody drink from the water, it becomes contaminated, you can also get hepatitis A. Another group of people who are at high risk are people who have men to men who have sexual intercourses. Those people are also at higher risk of contacting hepatitis A.
So when you talk about the risk factor for hepatitis A, you're literally referring to poor sanitation, right? That's what I hear you say.
Yes.
Poor sanitation, also inadequate hand washing or hygiene, as you mentioned, right? And then also consumption of contaminated food or water, right? So these are the risk factors. And so when people have poor sanitation, poor hygiene, you can't wash your hands, you're eating poor, or let's say contaminated food, contaminated food. So literally it poses a high risk factor for such category of people, right? It poses a high risk factor for such category of people. And of course, the behavior in terms of such as injection drugs, use or engaging, like you mentioned about, you know, sexual relationship, like, you know, man to man or so forth, right? Those activity with an infected individual can easily transmit that. So what other thing do people need to be mindful about when they hear about hepatitis A?
So, hepatitis A, because it causes liver failure, in as much as it's not as deadly, there are still people who are at risk of might reach to the point where it becomes very harmful or might lead to death. In rare cases, like I said, those are older people and people with serious health issues such as chronic liver disease. If you already have some liver disease, you're at higher risk. You want to also be very, very careful. People, in most cases, people recover completely and do not have long-lasting liver damage, but you also want to be mindful that you can take the precaution measures so that you don't happen to reach to the stage. Like I said, if you already have underlying illnesses, liver diseases, older people, you want to watch out for that.
Underlying diseases, that's right. So what are some of the what sort of vaccination option do people have in terms of taking to prevent hepatitis A?
Actually, I think the best prevention for hepatitis A is actually the vaccine, in as much as making sure that you taking care of yourself, cleaning your surroundings, washing your hands. Getting the vaccination is very, very important. It lowers your rate of getting um or contacting the virus of hepatitis A. There are two vaccines available. They are very, very available to the public for you to have your vaccines. Like we always say on the show, it's important to get your vaccines, get a vaccination if you can. As long as you don't have any form of medical condition that's going to stop you from getting your vaccination, you should get your vaccination. So the vaccine is the first, I can say, the first and foremost, most protective step in stopping or preventing yourself from getting hepatitis A.
Vaccination. Vaccination become the first and utmost step in protecting. That's right. So in terms of hepatitis A, vaccines are highly recommended, as we initially stated, just like COVID vaccines and flu vaccines or RSV vaccines. So for hepatitis A as well, vaccines are the most effective recommended method that you can take, get vaccination to help you prevent the infection. And because this is recommended for individuals that are very much at high risk exposure to virus. So that's why it's important that we keep up to date with all our vaccines, keep up to date. It's not limited to COVID only, but keep up to date with all these vaccines. And so the best person that can advise you as to which vaccines you need to take at what point and at what time will be your primary healthcare provider, right? Your doctor. Let's say that way. The doctor will be the person that will tell you, look, you need this vaccine, you need this vaccine, you need this vaccine. So that is very important. So when we come here, we always encourage you to ensure that you see your primary care physician, see your doctor, to ensure that they can advise you appropriately. And talking about that, people will, like you talk about chronic liver disease, right? They quickly get infected with hepatitis A, right?
Yeah.
And then those with certain high risk population, like people of color like us in the Black community, that's why we need to be careful, because most of the time we uh, we don't we overlook certain things, right? Sometimes you
Mm-hmm.
come to the bathroom, you don't wash your hands. You come from work, you don't wash your hands, right? You come from
Yeah.
the store, you don't wash your hands. You know, you come from a populated place where you're shaking hand, hugging, and all of that, touching surfaces. You come from riding a bus, you don't wash your hands. So hygiene is highly recommended, right?
Right.
Practicing good hygiene, okay, such as proper hand washing. Proper hand washing will help you to mitigate, to reduce the risk of having hepatitis A. And of course, the way we handle food also is something that we need to watch, pay attention to that, because it's very key as well in preventing hepatitis A disease. Now, let's talk about some of the symptoms that people should watch when they see those things, because you know in our African setting sometimes people got all kind of myth, right? Say
Mhm.
your eyes this, you know, when you're looking like this and this and this. But let's talk about scientific proven symptoms and maybe some of the treatment that can uh people can watch. What comes to your mind? What are some of the symptoms of hepatitis A?
You just struck a point, like you said. Back home here, I was setting people will look at the eyes. So usually, we call it, people will just generalize it and say yellow jaundice. That's how we call it.
Mm,
I don't know if I'm getting the pronunciation right. It's jaundice or jaundice, Jaundice. So that's one of the first thing is when the eyes become yellowish. It changes color. It doesn't look like the way the regular eyes is gonna look. That's one symptom of the hepatitis A. Another symptom is fever. You're gonna have a low grade fever, and it's gonna be accompanied with dark urine. Your poop. Some people do check their poop. It's sometimes it is important. Your poop is gonna be piled than usual. You're gonna have nausea or vomiting. Of course, not everybody's gonna experience all of the symptoms, but these are most symptoms that are usually accompanied with hepatitis A. So if you don't experience every single one, you might experience at least 90%. You're gonna have pain in the side of your right abdomen. That's one symptom. Digestive disorder or diarrhea. You also have joint pains, like your joints gonna start aching you. You're gonna have weakness. You're gonna have fatigue. Some people have reduced appetite. So if you're a person who have a very good appetite, all of a sudden your appetite becomes reduced. You see your eyes are changing colors. You're having low grade fever. You're feeling more weak than you usually would be. You feel more fatigue. Your joints are aching. You having
mm.
digestive problems. Your normal abdominal area is having pain, you want to seriously take into consideration getting tested for hepatitis A.
Wow, that's a long list for one to remember. Wow.
Yeah.
And then I think it worth maybe going over that again so that take your time to break it down so that people, you know, may really digest it and then at least will be able to go to understand that, you know, when they see those things, it call for a red flag for them to quickly maybe make appointment to say that they need to see their doctor, right? So that
Mhm.
the doctor can do an assessment on them and determine what is happening to their system. So, what are those red flags you were talking about? Okay, I want you to take your time, go over them again. Let's see how people, let's help our people to see that when those things are happening within them, it's important that they take note to go and see their doctor.
So the first one I thought I spoke about was Jonas. We call it Jonas. You might pronounce it, pronunciation might varies. I'm not sure. Or jaundice. The spelling is Jaundice. It's when the eyes become yellow and your skin becomes pale. Mostly you can see it from the eye first. Your skin might become pale and your eye might become very yellow. Not white. It doesn't look normal that the eyes usually would. You want to seriously take that into consideration if you notice that your eyes are getting yellow, or maybe your family or friends. Also, you will experience low grade fever. That means your skin might get hot. You might start feeling like you definite fever will make you feel like something is wrong. You will know something is wrong in your body, like you don't feel well. So the fever is going to come. Your urine is going to be dark. It's not going to be clear. Even if for people who do not consume a lot of fluids during the day, or usually consume a lot of fluids, you notice that your urine color is not clear. Sometimes it becomes yellow. But with
Mm,
Jana, it's not just going to be clear or yellow, it's going to be dark. And
mm,
then your poop is gonna be pale. It's gonna be pale in color. It's not gonna be like a regular. So some people don't usually take those into consideration or might want to look at the poop to check the color of that. That's okay. But for the urine, you want to also always make sure you take that into consideration. And then hepatitis A also comes with nausea and vomiting. Nausea and vomiting. These are symptoms that can also be. These are all symptoms that could also be mean something else, but with all of these accompanied together, that's why you want to take it into consideration to start considering getting checked for hepatitis A. So nausea and vomiting, you're gonna feel nauseousness, you're gonna feel nauseous, you're gonna try to vomit. Um, maybe you might some people might have eaten something or you have a thought that, oh, maybe I ate something that's causing me to have this feeling of nauseousness. But when you're feeling nauseous and you're vomiting at the same time and you're seeing these other symptoms, you want to take it into consideration. So you're also going to have pain in the right side of the abdomen. It's specific. It's on the right side of your abdomen. You're going to have pain there. It's right like your belly area down there. So you're gonna have pain over there, and you're also gonna start having digestive disorders or diarrhea. Maybe going to the bathroom faster than you would, having worries too. So if all of these are coming in, you want to start like picking up on the symptoms, and then you're also gonna have joint pains, like your joints, where your joints are. Those places are gonna start aching. If you know you're not that old, or you don't usually suffer from joint pains, you don't have any kind of illness that will make your joints to hurt, and all of a sudden you having joint pains accompanied with all these other symptoms, you want to consider getting checked. If you've been weak more than you usually would, you just having fatigue, you tired, you don't even have strength to do anything, and then you having these other symptoms, that's another strong symptom too. And then I stated reduced appetite, like some people normally will not have appetite to eat, but if you notice that if your appetite was a 5 and then it just went down to maybe a 0 or a 1 or a 1, you want to take that into consideration too. Another thing too that also comes with hepatitis A is severe itching. Some people experience severe itching, their skin will itch, so you also want to get checked for that. So if you start to experience all of these combined, or 90% of these combined, or even 85%, you want to take a chance to get tested just to be sure and be on the safe side.
wow. So there you have it, folks. Very, very long list. But just to sum up that, in terms of the symptoms that you can watch for, as you heard Miss Kirby talking about all of that. So as she said, there are a range of symptoms that really can affect people. Ranging from severe, severe fever. She talked about fatigue, right? Fatigue is where you feel weak. You want to wake up, but you feel like, too tired. Let me just postpone it. So the fatigue come on you. You too build up, and so forth. So these are some of the things she's talking about. Loss of appetite. She mentioned that to us. So take note, if you think like you're not getting, you're not having appetite to it, don't just be stocking tablet, or how do you call it, other vitamin that you can take to eat. Don't just be putting tablet in you like that, right? If you
Mm-hmm.
lose appetite, you need to check what makes you to lose appetite. Okay, what makes you to lose appetite? Excuse me. And so she talk about nausea, right? You can, like you always all stuff and all kind of stuff, right? Like your some mucus in your nose, or you feel all those kind of stuff happening around there. And of course, right? Vomiting, you feel like vomiting, and other things. So she talked about all these signs and symptoms that we need to watch for, right? And so in terms of the supportive care, what can we talk about? How can people receive care for hepatitis A?
Usually it goes away on its own. Takes Mostly will takes around 6 months. That's a long time for it to be completely gone out of your body, to be like completely healed or cured from hepatitis A. It goes away on your own, but during that time, you want to make sure that you drink a lot of fluid. Drinking a lot of fluid, water specifically. You can drink other things, or if you find it difficult to drink water, you could drink fluids with flavor just to help you stay hydrated, and the water helps to flush your system of the virus. So you want to drink a lot of water, and you want to take a lot of fiber and diet that are rich in fiber. During that time, you should avoid alcohol. If you're alcoholic, you want to avoid alcohol and drugs. So, like I said again, you want to always make sure you keep your surrounding clean. While you're sick, you already have the virus, you still want to make sure that you wash your hands and try not to have other people around you to get infected or try to contaminate places. You want to make sure that you drink a lot of water. You want to make sure that you get a lot of rest.
So there you have it again. So basically, in terms of supportive care you can receive is number one, she's talking about having rest. All right. Number two, drink a lot of water, get hydration in your system. Number three, managing the symptoms, right? Symptom management, and that includes those, as you manage them, what that does is it helps to elevate the discomfort and then that you feel, and then it promotes highly the recovery in you. Okay, the recovery. So most people who have hepatitis A, what happens to them is that they recover fully without long-term complication. So the good news is, and that's why it's very important that when you are affected or infected by this, do not waste time. Go on to see your doctor. Go on to see your doctor with immediate effect. Now let's talk about hygiene and sanitation best practices. So what hygiene and sanitation practices can individuals adapt to reduce significantly their risks of having hepatitis A? What sort of hygiene people need to do or prepare themselves to adapt, begin to practice that so that it can reduce the potential of them or propensity of them getting the infection or the virus of hepatitis A? What do you think on that?
Firstly, I would say effective hand washing. Effective hand washing. Washing your hands thoroughly. Most people will go to the bathroom, you say turn the water on, maybe just put a little soap and then just rub your hands for like couple seconds or maybe just a minute and then you're done. You want to make sure that you wash your hand thoroughly. Firstly, you follow the of steps of washing your hands. You want to make sure you wet your hands with clean running water, and then you can apply soap. You lather your hand, rub your hands together, make sure that it's foaming. You want to wash between your nails. These are places where germs and bacteria hide. You want to make sure that you wash all those places. Your that you wash it. You want to make sure that you scrub your hands for at least 20 seconds. Scrub your hands, and then you can rinse your hands well on a clean, warm water, and then you dry your hands, or you can air dry your hands. If you're going to use a towel, make sure that the towel is clean.
Wow. There you have everything again. Washing your hands. So people can reduce the risks of having hepatitis A when they practice good hygiene, right?
Mm-hmm.
Such as washing hands, which ensuring that you don't just put water on you, but you have the soap. And the best practice that I've been taught was when you wash your hands, you want to scrub between your fingers, and then you want to scrub center, right, between
Mm-hmm.
here, and then you scrub there, you know. So you
Mm-hmm.
want to so you practice that. So most time people wash hand, they don't scrub between the fingers. So we just do, and then you can see that if you typically check, there is dirt between your fingers. And then of
Mm-hmm.
course, edge of your nails or fingernails. So you want to make sure you can wash them properly, so that way you are not leaving any sort of virus somewhere there, because viruses can get stuck, they can stay on this the slighter error, it can get there and it can stay there. All right, so good practices of hand washing will reduce significantly the risks of you having any, not only hepatitis A, but any race of virus, right? Very
Right.
important for that. So wash your hand with soap and water, right?
Yep.
Um, to make
Try
sure that
to dry it properly, because if even if you wash your hands and the drying method is not up to standard, it's not safe, the washing is in vain. So let's say you wash your hands clean and then you just grab a dirty cloth, or maybe the same clothes that you're wearing and just rub your hands on it. It's just a waste of time, because those clothes are already contaminated. You've been places, people have touched you, you've touched things, so you want to make sure that you dry your hands properly.
yes. So when you wash your hands, you should dry your hands. All right. Now let's talk about it. In case someone don't have towel with them, how do you think they should dry their hands?
So if you in the most public bathrooms, they have the air dryer. So if there are not paper towels, you can air dry your hands. Or if you wash your hands to the place where you cannot air dry, you don't have access to towels or paper towels, nothing. You can just, since the machine itself, you can allow your hands to air dry by themselves. Try to incorporate the time, or yeah, like just
In
make
there.
sure that yeah, you can keep your hands, and it isn't even going to take that long for your hands to really get dry when you wash them. So you can allow your hands to air dry on their own, if if at all you don't have any other option.
Very good. So also, how baby mothers should really practice good hygiene, because they change their baby diapers, and and that's it. They just move on, right? In our African setting, they just change it, and then that's it. They drop it, but they didn't even wash their hands. Sometimes they play with all the mess, they pull, they peep, and all of that. And sometimes you see they grab food to eat, or they're doing it, they're eating, and so forth. Now, how can we address that to help our community in terms of how they can prepare, taking care of their own health in that manner?
So with us is through feces. So you clean, if you're a baby mother, you cleaning your kids, you playing with the baby feces, you playing with poops. This is an easy way of transmission. So whether it's true from you to the child, that child has it, you want to make sure that you always clean. And then don't forget, just because you say, oh, it's a baby, I clean the pool, so I don't need to wash my hands. No, you need to wash your hands. So if you don't, you want to make sure that you clean the place that you use. If you're using a public space where they have these things that they put down for you to be able to change the babies, or you want to make sure before you change your kids, you want to get that clean. Even if you have something that you want to use to lay the babies on, you still want to make sure that you have that place clean up, disinfected. Always have, if they have the portable disinfectant wipes, you can use that. You want to make sure that you wash your hands. If you have have easy access to getting hand sanitizers, you want to use that. Why? You can reach to the place to wash. The sanitizers are effective, but washing hands are more effective. So if you're in a position where you cannot wash your hands at that moment and you have access to sanitizer, that is great. If not, you can use both, whatever works for you at that point. But you want to make sure that you clean the kids properly, you clean wherever they're going to be changed, and you also want to make sure that you properly dispose of their diapers or the used diapers that are used. You don't want to just put them anywhere for other people to see or for other people to be able to come in easy access to them. So you want to make sure that you dispose of them. And where you are, you don't have access to a bin or any trash can or something where you can dispose of them. You want to make sure that you always have your little bags or plastics that you can tie and keep until you reach to a place where you can safely dispose of them. You don't just throw them around for other people to come in contact with them, and always make sure to clean before and after yourself.
Very good. And I love the way you lay that out so that our nursing mothers can baby mothers and so forth can know that to ensure that you don't just treat the the changed diapers that are already messed up or infected, anyhow. So make sure, as you mentioned, that you dispose them appropriately. Now, talking about some of this, the best hygiene and so forth. What about practicing safe sex, right? What do you think? How does that help to prevent sexual transmission of the virus?
So we go to that point. I mean, I know people do a lot of things doing sexual intercourses, but because you know that it's spread through poop, and if you have to go the extra mile while being intimate with your partner, you want to make sure that they are properly clean. You want to make sure that they are properly clean, they are properly washed, and if you have to do anything, as a means of be more active during your intercourse, you want to make sure that you properly clean over there so you do not come in contact with anything that is going to get you infected or going to have you have virus. You want to make sure that your partners are healthy and safe so that you too can be healthy and safe, because if you're intimate with a person and that person has these kind of viruses that are easily transferred, you stand a higher risk of getting them.
Wow. So, in other words, practice safe sex, right? Practice
Yeah.
safe sex to avoid the infection. Very important. Well, friends, you are right here with us at Rising Up for Change. Now, our goal is just simple. We bring hope to those without hope. We want to restore hope to the brokenhearted, and we want to mend and heal broken hearts and so forth. But also, we want you to live a healthy life. And so that's why we are coming your way. And tonight we are discussing again community health issues that affect our communities, that affect us in many ways. And part of that tonight we're talking about hepatitis A. Now, before we jump ship to another topic, to kind of move on to this, how can people, individual communities, prepare for and respond to hepatitis outbreak, right? Especially
Mhm.
us in the Southwest Philadelphia and its environment. How can we prepare? How can we help build the community to even practice better, safer ways to keep the community safe?
First, the first thing, if you for preparedness, you want to assess or identify hazards or things that will affect or that affects the community mostly. And then when you do that, you want to carry out more awareness. If you do that and you're trying to figure out a solution, you want to carry out more awareness, create more awareness so that people in the community know that, hey, this thing exists amongst us. And then how can we like try to eradicate it or try to continuously protect ourselves so that it doesn't become an outbreak among us, where it becomes deadly and people get so sick in our become so sick and nobody can really help each other or help ourselves. So you want to do a lot of awareness in the community. You want to get the attention of people. You want to have people participate. You want to have people to know what exactly is happening so that each one can look out for another person. If everybody's looking out for each other, it makes it easy because you already know exactly what the target is or what is a target in the community as a whole. And then everybody, like, there is power in unity. So if everybody is working together hand in hand and trying to fight something, it becomes easy for that thing to become so hazardous to the whole community.
Yes, I love that everyone looking after one another, and that is very important. So people, everyone, communities that we live in, we all can contribute. We all can contribute to prevent the outbreak, to prevent any potential outbreak of hepatitis or any of those virus diseases, right? And so we do so by getting involved in local health advisory boards, or maybe conversation with local health authorities, right? When you hear
Mm-hmm.
about vaccinations, we all can promote it. We promote
Right.
vaccination together. We all can practice good health hygiene habit. We can all practice good health hygiene habits, and we do so by seeking things like vaccination that are recommended, and then even in the event of an outbreak or public health issue, authorities may implement measures such like all that we're talking about, vaccination campaign, which Rising Up for Change over the past 4 years have really been doing tremendously well to be able to pass information, joining other local organizations to share the information. And so increasing the surveillance of this, to keep an eye like what Philadelphia Department of Public Health does to make sure that they are on top of it. They're giving news, they're giving statistics, they're giving regular updates where things are, where people see things, and so forth. Those things help to reduce the spread. It helps to reduce the increase of that. And so education, just as what we're doing here tonight, it helps to control the spread of the virus. And that's why we are involved in providing educational awareness to our community, which Rising Up for Change seems to have expertise in. And we want to thank the generous support of the Public Health Department of Philadelphia, the Pennsylvania Economic Department, and all our supporting partners who have been helping to sustain this program to keep our community safe, to ensure that we can pass this information. We want to thank their generous support to our programs. And of course, we are not forgetting the radio station that is making this platform available, Island Vybe, and they are really good. We can recommend them. If you have events, contact them. They will sell best themselves, but we want to just speak on our relationship over the past months. And I think we've been having this relationship for nearly 2 years now. And so we cherish it, and we want to thank them for their own ongoing support with collaboration with us. Now, let's shift gears for the next couple of minutes we got left. What else do you want us to talk about today in terms of helping our community to really be prepared for and shaped?
So was talking about preparedness, community preparedness is just the same, like assessing as a community. We want to, like, the weather's changing. I know over here we weather does not get so bad as other states where we have tornadoes and all of that, but we want to always make sure that we're prepared. We want to make sure that we're always having this conversation. So you want to, as a community, we want to assess hazards in the communities. What are those things that we see as hazards or threats to our community, our kids that are growing. What are the vulnerabilities? You want to identify the vulnerabilities within the communities. So as the communities going forward, especially with the season changing, summer's gonna be here soon. Winter's over. We in spring. Spring is about to leave. In as much as it looks like it just started, but time flies so fast. Can you imagine we're already in May? Before you know it, May is gonna be over. What are we doing as a community to prepare for the coming season and how to stay safe and all of that? So those are things that we want to start looking out for now as a community. Are there any events or any activities we think we can plan as a community to get people involved and to participate in during the coming season that will keep us fit, keep us healthy, keep our minds off distractions, or keep our kids active in the things that are not going to keep them adults so that they do not get involved into activities that are not beneficial to them in the community as a whole.
That's right. And there was something I wanted to see whether we can also, not whether, but we can also talk about. When it has to do with stigma and discrimination for health-related issue. How can our people, how can the community really refrain from giving stigma or discriminating people with health disparities? And when people are sick, when people are unhealthy, how can the community really give support or refrain from putting stigma on the person instead by giving them support?
Firstly, I think that there should be more education carried out on some of the illnesses that are affecting people that are being stigmatized, so that way when people know exactly what it is, they don't turn to just have their own thoughts and start to act upon it. Common example is, for example, people living with HIV and AIDS. When HIV and AIDS came about earlier, um, it was something that scared everybody. There were no cure, there were no medication to prevent it or to explain the lifespan of people who had contacted the virus. People turned to discriminate those people, like they didn't want to be bothered. And most of the time, the people that died, they died because of the isolation and they died because of how they were treated, even before the virus even affected to the point where it would have killed them. So now, if people tend to have a better understanding, for example, oh hey, look, just by a person having AIDS and then touching you, it's not going to give you the virus. That person, and the person not knowing that, if that's the person thinks that hey, the person have AIDS, maybe if they just touch me or they sneeze around me, I'm going to contact it. So that person will try to build their own defense. So that's when discrimination starts to come in. It's just an example of that particular illness. It could be other illnesses. So if people understand the prevention and how these illnesses are transferable or being contacted, whether they are contagious or not, they will know how to work around these people. And people also need to know that no matter how sick a person is, or no matter what condition that person in, no matter the illness that person has, they need people. Everybody needs somebody, because if you discriminate somebody, it messes with against somebody, it messes with their mental health. That person tends to get sick. That's when some people become traumatized and they try to retaliate. Some people try to retaliate, hey, like, hey, I got nothing to lose. This community does not love me. They don't appreciate me. Maybe I should just do something crazy. Some people want to get the attention. Some people just want to get back at people. So having this conversation, talking about it, having awareness, like just having a conversation and making people to know if there are any educational materials that need to be distributed to people where they can read and understand, those will be helpful.
Excellent. So yeah, as you mentioned, so people that face hepatitis A or any other disease or sickness, literally they need to ensure, we all need to contribute to ensure that by you not facing that doesn't mean you are 100% clear of any disease or so. It could be you or
Right.
loved one. So always ensure that you give support rather than putting stigma on people or discriminating them. And so it's important that we do that. So those misconceptions in terms of the virus, by this virus, the transmission, We need to take that and put it on side because we need to see that we can heal the community. We can build a community together that we live in, because what affects your neighbor can affect you as well. So it's important that we all take note of that, right? Ensuring that we're building support, we're giving support to people. Many ways we do that. You may not give physical support, but emotional support you can give them. You can build somebody mental health status and to become balanced. So all those pillars will help people to be to heal faster. But like you mentioned, the reason why when certain diseases catch some people, the reason why they quickly die is because when the community, instead of community joining to heal them, building them up, they in turn will kind of castigate them, they will bully them, they will put the stigma on them. So we need to learn on that and be able to pass on that. You know, anything that happened to your neighbor, it could have been you, it could have been your loved one. But so if you cannot help, don't hurt. So it's important that we take note of that. We need to give our communities we live in, we need to give them support. So as maybe climax on what we're talking about this, practice good hygiene. Make sure you see your physician when something strange is happening to you. Make sure that all those signs and symptoms we talk about when you're experiencing any vomiting, severe fever, and all of those, you know, it's important that you see your doctor. Well, thank you for being our way tonight, wherever you've been tonight, whether you were driving, maybe you are sitting in your car, maybe you are sitting at a bus or trolley or waiting, you know, to board your flight or whatever. Or maybe you are just relaxing tonight and then you came our way. We want to thank you for your generous commitment to supporting us by stopping by just listening, hearing us. We want to thank you for that. And so tonight, it's been always a pleasure coming your way. Now, what are maybe our parting comment tonight that you want to share with our audience, Kevin, as program officer?
Thank you for joining us tonight. We appreciate your time. And I guess we've all learned something tonight that we can take with us and be able to impact our community. So let's all stay safe, continue to practice proper hygiene, the pastor said, and let's look out for each other, checking on each other, making sure our community is safe and protected, and we can do our part as individuals. With Rising Hope for Change, you can always reach out to us, and if you have your concerns, you can leave them in the comment. If you have any input, you can also leave it in the comments. You can reach out to Alan Vybe, and they can also reach out to us. So thank you so much for joining. It's been a pleasure being here tonight.
Thank you, and thank you. We appreciate your time. We wish you all the best. Stay healthy, stay safe, and that's your way you'll keep doing what you need to do. Thank you. God bless. And studio will turn it back to you. Thank you.
Rising Hope for Change presents a community conversation on public health preparedness program hosted by Reverend Daniel H. Lindo. Open discussions and insights on heat warnings and other public health emergencies. Philadelphia Immunization Program, preparing your home for every season. Personal preparedness to stay healthy, engaging faith-based and community organizations to consider planning for emergencies. This and more is going down and will be discussed live on Island Vybe, Philly Caribbean Station, www.islandvybe.net, every Monday, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m.